Pro streamer.
Greetings and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim. I use he, him pronouns, and it is the last Sunday of the year. Today we're celebrating by playing a very silly hack I wrote a few years back of John Harper's Lady Blackbird. It is a Shakespearean sci-fi game called RvR, which stands for Robot versus Robot. In this case, Robot Hamlet versus Robot Richard III. I'll explain what I mean by that in a little bit, but first let us go around, introduce everyone, and see who they're playing today. I'm going to start with Dee. Hello!
Hello, everyone. I'm Dee, or you might know me in Twitch as Parksagora Thesmiophoria, and today I'm playing Hamlet. Or at least a robot version thereof.
And let's go around to Hawkeye.
Greetings, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this island Earth today. I am Kentucky Hawkeye, KY Hawkeye, here on Twitch, and I will be Sir John Falstaff.
Excellent. Good. And finally, Peter.
Hi, I'm Peter, at Blazing Lion on Twitter, and also on Discord and everything. So, I will be playing he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Robin Longfellow, or as many others know him, Huck.
Excellent. Cool. And so this is meant to be a light comedy game, but since the very nature of Lady Blackbird hacks is to make things up as you go along, just so you folks will know, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for you, any of the players can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that you're okay having in the game, but you don't want a graphic description of it, then you just type an N in the Zoom chat, and then we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if you're in the midst of intense role-playing and you think we might be worried you're really upset out of character, you can put an O in the chat to let us know you're okay, and that we're good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it. When we say something or do something, then we think, maybe that might have been a little bit too much. Then everyone else can respond to that and just let us know if we're doing okay. While the characters' lives are rife with drama, we just want to make sure we don't have that happening to the players, so we can all relax and have a good time. And there we are. We shall get this thing kicked off. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. This is not a wooden O, so I'm not going to keep going. So yes, this is a setting that I cobbled together once years ago as a bit of a joke for Lady Blackbird, for the Lady Blackbird system. So things are a wee bit odd. Let me explain, perhaps, what this is and why I have a map that I've cobbled together from a strange from an 80s video game up there. Essentially, we have this situation where it is approximately the year 300,000 or so. The human race is long gone, but their creations remain. In an asteroid belt in deep space, humanity created Bard World, a huge theme park dedicated to the works of William Shakespeare. And they populated it with robot replicas of characters from Shakespeare's much-loved classic works, such as Hamlet, Macbeth, and Revenge of the Sith. But after the human race passed into oblivion, Bard World continued. In time, the robots became sentient and overcame their programming. And to adapt, many of these Shakespearean characters had to learn deep space survival skills that they'd never have dreamed of knowing otherwise. But many were ambitious, and a great power struggle began, and that is pretty much where we're sitting here. You have essentially robot-operated ships flying back and forth from asteroid to asteroid as these different parts of the theme park are there. There are all manner of different kinds of ships out there. And they've carved out a society for themselves. And sometimes they fall back into these patterns where they do a lot of plotting against each other, as in a lot of the plays. But sometimes they try to just break out and do their own thing. And that's kind of where we are. In this case, Hamlet, some time ago, left his home of Denmark, the asteroid Denmark, grabbed a ship, called the Burbage, which King Claudius is got a contract out on to try to find, because there's some question as to the ship's ownership.
There's no question. It's my ship.
Well, yes, exactly. You know, it is Hamlet's ship, but some people have had questions about that. And so one of the and so they've essentially been doing various shipping jobs. Hamlet did have until relatively recently a couple of crewmates, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who had this terrible habit of betraying him. So they have been given their pink slips and are off. But more recently picked up 2 new crew members, Falstaff and Puck, who are working with them. I believe Puck is a navigator, and Falstaff is there to help. Also, I think
here. What more do you need?
Exactly. No, I think I also actually gave Falstaff some ability with actually repair. So I think Falstaff actually does have. I think Falstaff is the character that has robot repair abilities.
That is correct.
So that's there. So let's kind of sort this out a little bit. Before we get into the scenario itself, and I ask this whenever I run this, what kinds of robots are we thinking here? Are we thinking kind of a Westworld type thing where they're sort of androids looking very human, or are they very robot and boxy looking? What do you think?
I think more Westworld. They wanted to. It's a theme park. The animatronics had to be better in the 33rd century.
Probably.
I mean, Disney's already done it.
Yeah, or maybe Battlestar Galactica with what was the name of that?
Cylons.
The Cylons, yeah, the modern Cylons.
The modern Cylons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Mm-hmm. No, that works for me. They're very So I mean, there's probably even some degree if they're like the modern Cylons, then there's like a biotech possibly even incorporated in there. So they're hyper realistic. So they may as well be people. Humanity's been gone for a long time. We're not sure how it happened, but it's just you're doing your own thing now, and that's kind of the thing. So this is going to start on the Ghost Asteroid, where Hamlet was seeking advice from the spirit of his father. Basically, the Ghost Asteroid, just to give a little background, used to be where all of the various kingdoms of the kings of the Plantagenets were, from Shakespeare's different plays. It was called the Plantagenet Planet. The thing is about the play Richard III is it's got a lot of ghosts in it. And so they rose up, and with the help of other ghosts, just sort of took the place over. And that is now infested effectively with the undead. There are still or undead ghosts, I should say, undead ghosts, ghost robots, more projections. They're more hologrammatic, if you will, but they can still do a fair amount of damage if they want, because in this far in the future we have. Nanites can fly through the air and do a bunch of things, so they have many qualities, many. And it was here, as you are standing atop the battlement of a crumbled, ruined castle, that you have been left abandoned. Richard III was here. The villainous Richard III, who controls a lot of the black market and a lot of the sort of the crime in Bard World all over. Apparently, so when you got back to your ship, after you were here talking to Hamlet's father, seeking some advice, you found that the power core had been taken from your ship, the Burbage, and one of your crew members had been taken. And so I'm going to ask a few more questions for us to get this scenario going. One question, which you don't have to answer off the bat, but you may want to think about, is for Hamlet, is what were you here seeking your father's advice on? Because that is a thing that is probably of import. But first, I'm going to ask, what crew member was kidnapped? And it can be pretty much anyone from a Shakespearean play. In the original draft of this game, it was Ophelia, and then years passed, and then I realized, hey, agency. So I updated the game a bit. But it can actually be it can be someone who's a character that's not being played, or it can be a Shakespearean character, or a character from pretty much anything. As it seems, they discovered that so many things were written by Shakespeare, up to and including the Star Wars movies, and apparently a lot of other popular culture is evidently, as far as the historians were concerned, Shakespeare was responsible for it. So it could be anyone. So who are you missing?
I mean, it's Horatio.
Righto.
It has to be
Clearly
Horatio.
Horatio. It is clearly Horatio.
Yeah.
Who else could it be?
Exactly.
Who else would I entrust my ship to when I'm not on it?
Apparently there were more things in heaven and earth, because there we go. So your buddy Horatio has been kidnapped by Richard III's forces. You saw their ship taking off. But you're now stuck here on the Ghost Asteroid in this crumbling ruin, and I'd like each of you to give me one detail about something you know about this ruined castle. And you can go in any order you like, or I can pick.
The mechanics for the drawbridge no longer work.
Drawbridge bad. So there is a moat, and the glorious thing about doing this on an asteroid is that the moat actually doesn't have a bottom. You're on this rock that is drifting next to another rock. Very big rock. It's an asteroid. So there are other, there are plenty of other, in the old X kingdoms of the Plantagenets out there, and villages, and what have you. And there's probably a village not far from here. They don't trust people, and they don't go out at night, but it's probably there. But yeah, right now you're in this castle. So someone else give me another detail about this castle.
It used to have a throne room, but the throne room has been locked for over 1,000 years.
Ooh. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I'm imagining this big double door that closes it off, and it's been sort of shut down. You can get up into the guard towers and the battlements and what have you, and the courtyard, but the actual main building, the throne room, for whatever reason, had something in it, and they didn't want it. Well, or maybe it didn't. They didn't want people to get in and get at it, maybe, or they didn't want it to get out. Hard to know.
We'll see.
Hawkeye, do you have a...
Yes, I do. This might go hand in hand with Huck's discovery, but I noticed that when we were landing, it kind of threw off our landing. It appears that underneath this castle, some sort of power source that we can't seem to be able to identify.
Ooh. Nice. Awesome. So I'm going to assume, since the drawbridge is out, that you're probably parked somewhere off of the castle's landing platform. Which they all have, they have to.
Unfortunately, we had to make an emergency stop on the fencing ground since the pad wasn't safe for us to land.
Okay. Hamlet, do you have any idea why you were here? Why you were trying to talk to your father?
There were rumors that I heard that Denmark had begun a means, my good uncle, to create an heir to replace me.
Interesting.
Which should not be possible.
No, that technology doesn't exist here, does it? It's a good question. It shouldn't be possible at all. Okay, and what I'm curious about is, did you find your father, or were you interrupted?
I think we were interrupted.
Okay.
The first meeting as if you go back to the actual play, the first meeting when he walks away and you can't actually have a conversation because Horatio interrupts everything. And in this case, Horatio interrupting was, oh my god, they're here to capture us.
Yes.
Accurate.
They're boarding the ship!
What? What do you mean
Who's boarding the ship?
Who's boarding the ship?
That's probably the last thing you heard Horatio say. Then you saw this streak up through the sky, and you actually were able to see that it was more than a streak. You were able to make it out that it's it's Richard III's ship. You're once again out here on the battlements. There's no sign of the ghost right now. And I put it to you, what are you doing?
First, I'm going to turn and look at Falstaff and Puck and go, do we have any way of getting off this rock?
It appears the power has been totally taken out of our ship.
Uh-huh.
So I think the answer there would be no.
Well, according to my navigational expertise, we're stuck here.
Don't tell us the totally obvious, just the merely obvious will suffice.
Okay, we're stuck here.
There has to be a way off this planet. Rock thing circulating something, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, this used to be powered by something. Maybe we could find it and kick it.
I'm not even going to ask what you used to do or how you're used to dealing with mechanical devices, but I've found that doesn't usually work as much as you think it does.
Yeah, my expertise isn't usually...
With my repair skills, do I know what the power source was on our ship?
Let's see.
So we know what kind of thing to look for?
Let's see, you have...
I have repair.
Yeah, robotics repair.
Robotics repair.
I could say you could look for that. I'm going to give you a... it shouldn't be too tough. I'm going to give you a difficulty of 2. Let's roll something. So you get 1 die for showing up. You're going to have 1 die for using your robotics. And then what else do you want to pull in?
Let's see. Diagnosis.
Okay.
I think that would fit. And I'm always overconfident on my abilities, so maybe boasting. I know I can figure this out.
Well, unfortunately, that's under a different trait, so you can only use...
it's all going to be in the same trait? Okay.
Yeah, it's all going to be in the same trait.
I would say repair and diagnosis.
Okay. So that's going to give you 4 dice. You have a personal pool of 7. Do you want to use any of those now, or do you want to hold on to them?
I'll hold on to them for now.
Okay. So, you've got 4 dice to roll. You're looking for 4s or better.
Okay. Here we go.
Go ahead and do the rollery. Okay.
Well,
Just enough.
No.
So you got it, yeah.
Oh yeah,
We're
2
looking
successes.
for 2 successes. So, yeah. You think that, the way that the theme parks were powered, the cores for that powered kind of the buildings, the rides, and what have you, were not exactly the same, but they were adaptable. So you could probably jury rig something to make it work.
Were they all powered with Julietium like everything else around here?
Yes, transmutonium, I think, is what they switched to not too long ago.
Okay.
As long as it isn't unobtainium.
No. That by very definition can't be obtained. Can I just, for a moment, just say that the first time I heard that word used unironically, a little piece of me died. I just want to mention that. But I'm back now. Okay. All right. Sorry. Not just then. I mean, in a movie some time ago, it was used unironically, and oh dear. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Right. Okay. Yes. Back. Shakespeare. Hi. How's it going?
Well, in that case, Falstaff, what do you need to repair this?
We need to find a power source at least similar to what we were using before, if not the exact same thing.
All right, then in that case, why don't obviously this castle vestiges of something would have some sort of.
Gotta have some sort of power source.
I mean, no one's home, but that doesn't mean we can't
Knock?
use what we need.
Oh, yes.
I don't knock.
Well, if no one's home, okay. Yeah. No, you're right.
Oh no, I mean I can knock. It's just very loud and usually has a sword in one hand when I do it.
Is that knocking or is that stabbing?
It really depends on who I'm doing it to.
Got it. Okay. I'm not going to question further.
All right, Falstaff, let's get this going.
Lead the way, Captain.
Indeed.
So Captain Hamlet and crew are going to make their way down. Where are you? Where in the castle are you headed? There are the outer bits. There's the courtyard. There's the inner bit that's locked. What do you? Are you heading toward that, or what's up?
Well, I figure we know that the drawbridge is broken. Has to have some sort of mechanical device to run that. Should be relatively easy to strip that quickly because we're sitting in the courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or easily accessible to see if that's easy. First option, then second option, we, be a lot more violent.
All right. Yeah. I will say that, as far as, well, let's go down and have a look. So you head down, through the guard tower, just sort of into the area of the courtyard where you can get at the drawbridge, or try to get to the little gatehouse that has the drawbridge controls in it, is where you're headed. And as this is going on, and then you note that it gets quiet for a bit before the wind picks up again. How there's wind on an asteroid, I'm not sure, but it's there.
Solar winds.
Nanites, something. Anyway. So there's a little just sort of lock that you can knock off to get into the gatehouse. It isn't too tough to grab that and get that off, or you find like a if anyone has a sword, you can just get it off that way.
Oh yes, but I probably wouldn't use my sword to damage it. Wouldn't want to break the rapier on the lock.
Or it's not. It's one of those things you can use, like the hilt or something.
Oh yeah, stab the hilt.
If you have a dagger.
Yeah, a dagger might work better.
Yeah, the lock's pretty rusted. So the little wooden door creaks open, and you see in there is an old dusted control panel.
All right, Falstaff, you're up.
Okay then. So I need to do some modification and deactivation here, I perceive.
Yeah. You're gonna need to find its power core, yank it out, and figure out what you're gonna need to do to modify. I mean, you're gonna need to find the core mostly here, and more of the modifications are gonna happen on board the Burbage. But yeah, so one for showing up, one for robotics, and then what do you want to use also?
Let's see. I would think probably deactivation, because I'm going to have to be shutting down this mechanism in order to get the power source out.
Okay, good.
And then probably either diagnosis or modification to know where it actually is, so I can pull it out.
Or both.
Or could be both.
You can use both on that, because this is going to be a difficulty 3. You're going to need 3 successes, so that's 5 dice. Do you want to use any from your pool?
I think I will use one from my pool for this.
And you'll use one from your pool, okay. All right, and so that's going to be 6 dice.
That'll be 6.
Okay. So, now as Falstaff is in there working on this, he just sort of gets down and is like under the control panel, looking for stuff. While he's doing that, what are you two doing?
Oh, I'm keeping an eye out. Half an eye on Falstaff and half an eye to make sure that no one else attempts to damage my ship.
I could run back and take a look on it. Keep a lookout specifically, like, close to it.
I think that might be wise. Do you have are you armed? Yeah, no. Take this.
Oh, okay.
And I hand you a dagger.
Great!
The pointy end goes in the other person.
Okay. Then I'm just going to make like a ferry and speed back off to yeah. And yeah, no, it's exactly like that. Just one moment I'm there, just
Yeah. I think the line was something along the lines of putting a girdle around the earth in 20 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
So where did can you remind me where it was that you parked? You said before, but I can't remember.
In the courtyard.
In the courtyard. Okay, so it's not very far away.
No.
We'll say it's like on the other side of the courtyard. And so yeah, the condition of the ship itself is not terrible. They didn't. This was a very specific, very fast snatch and grab, so they didn't have time to really take much. They just grabbed Horatio and the power core and left. So there's not too much.
No, go ahead.
So there's not too much that's out of place.
Is there something of a like backup power source where I can at least get the ship systems running?
You can poke around, and see if that is the case. See if that's still there.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and my expertise is in navigating, so I'm just gonna kind of look. Basically, I'm not as familiar with this ship as I'd like to be, but I'm gonna just kind of do a quick, just run around to see if I can find if there's any sort of button that we didn't try to turn it back on.
Well, yeah, that'll be simple enough. But you've got showing up. You have astronavigation. You have ships. If you want, you can bring in ship systems on that as well.
Yeah, and I also I guess I want to try and bring in communications, because if I can get the ship systems to work, then I kind of want to, hey, we're stuck here.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. All right. So yeah, that'll be. So that'll give you 4 dice. I'm gonna make this a 3.
Oh, okay. Then I will go ahead and use one from the pool.
Okay.
All right. So. I'm not as familiar with this. Do I click the roll button?
Yeah,
click
just
the roll button.
Yeah, click the roll button.
Yeah.
Then you insert the number of dice.
You got 5 dice.
If you...
Oh, okay.
So,
Well,
here's...
I guess I get that back.
Yes, you do get the die back for the pool die back because you did not succeed. You do find that the communication system. You do see that the communication system and the rest of the ship systems kind of have their own sort of native power that they use. You don't know if any of that can be routed, but the thing about it is that they did take out your they took out your radio. Basically, they
Of course.
They thought ahead.
yeah. So they saw that you cannot call for help, but there is power getting to it. It's sparking very prettily. But
Ooh, I'm gonna stare at that for a while.
yeah, it's nice. Hamlet, whilst this is going on, you note that the wind picks up even further, and you hear a shuffling, and a low sort of scraping sound like something heavy and metallic being dragged across stone. And it seems to be getting louder.
Falstaff,
I
you
think
want to hurry up.
I
There's something out there.
I've just about got it.
Yes, and let's get out of here quickly.
There.
There's a very loud noise. It's, and I don't think I can really do it here, but it's sort of like a and Hamlet, as you're looking across the courtyard, you see the two doors that have been sealed for the last 1,000 years going as though something's beating against it.
Falstaff, get that out of there and get our bird in the air.
You've just grabbed the power source, so you're...
All right. I'm on my way. I've got it in my hands.
And I'm staring very suspiciously at the door.
And I hustle as fast as I can take my portly body to the ship.
So, when you pull, having pulled that out, you do note that a couple of lights on the control panel have come on. You see that after you've pulled out the power core. So it looks like that. I mean, you've got the power source in your hand, so it's probably not going to be on for long. But
Does it look
it seems
I
like
can
a
lower the
backup
dropper?
system of some kind is kicked in when you pulled that out.
Okay.
So, as you're heading across the courtyard toward the Burbage, these empty sconces that are sitting along at the sort of the points between the archways just burst to life, just flames spontaneously appearing on each one.
I really hate ghosts. Let's go, Falstaff.
I'm running as fast as I can.
Stab you, will you run faster?
Do I see or hear any of this, or
Oh,
am
yeah.
I too far away?
You heard the you heard the knocking.
I'm gonna, okay, when I hear the knocking, I'm gonna like kind of poke my head out the ship like, eh?
Yeah, the lights are on.
Oh, that's cool.
Like a backup generator or something's kicked in.
Oh, cool.
And you see, and also poking your head out, you see Falstaff coming at you as rapidly as he can.
Huh. He runs much faster than I expected.
From
And I'm
out
following
from under one of the
behind
arch.
with weapon drawn.
As you are, Falstaff, as you are almost to the Burbage, out from under one of the archways, you see what looks like someone clad in chains and wearing a helmet, that sort of a half helmet. You can see their face, and they look just very sort of scarred. sort of dragging out, and they look semi-transparent. It's hard to tell. They don't look good. But they're carrying on these chains, connected to these chains is a large key. And they're not really looking at any of you, but they're the sound of sort of these, they're the source of the dragging sound. They seem to be heading toward the doors that are continuing every like 20 seconds or so. There's like another knock.
I kick in the afterburners and I run even faster.
So I take it that key that he has probably opens that door, and if I do that, like, would it be a good thing or a bad thing to find out what's behind the door?
This is an excellent question.
At this point, it will probably be a bad thing. We're surrounded by dead.
That's true. But, and I just take off and start towards the key.
I clothesline him as he tries to go by me.
Okay. Hey, PvP already. All right, so
Puck gets in too much trouble for his own good. I had to.
So you're each going to get to roll, and whoever gets the most successes will be able to determine what happens.
All right. So, fighter, fists, dodge, swashbuckler, disarming, and one just cuz.
Yes, Hamlet's very good at this kind of thing. Puck, what are you using?
So I'm going to go ahead and use one because I'm there, one for quick, one for agile, one for reflexes, one for fast acting, one for running, and one for escape.
And remember, you also get the one for light-footed, is the base trait itself.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I'll take one from the pool.
Alrighty.
Falstaff would sit back and watch this, but he's too scared. He's running with the power source, wanting to get in the ship too quickly.
Excellent.
All right.
You're not technically armed.
You shall each roll, and we shall see what happens.
That's 4 successes. For
I got 4 successes.
Interesting. Okay. So, I think what this means is that something else happens.
Probably.
So, as you are...
What you do about something.
Oh, yes. So, as you are heading towards as Puck is trying to get toward the thing with the key, the spirit just sort of turns and looks at you.
We were just going, weren't we, Puck? Get in the boat.
Holds the key toward you like this.
Oh, that's funny. It kind of looks like he's holding it like a gun.
And begins marching toward you.
It's a 44 Magnum key.
Oh, okay.
The key glows for a moment, and a burst of light comes out of the end and arcs toward you all.
Oh no!
No.
Am I in the ship or am I?
Falstaff has just made it into the ship. Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if I needed to cover it with my body to protect the.
This thing is shooting plasma blasts at you, just to give you an idea.
How far away from me is it?
So it's, I would say, so it's on the I say the other side of the courtyard, but in this case now I mean you're in one corner of the courtyard. It's in the next corner of the courtyard, as it were. You're on opposite sides of where the main doors would be.
Okay.
Into the main doors that are going like this.
So I would have to go across the main doors to get to him.
Yeah, I mean, well, you cross in front of them, yeah, but not like not like just a few feet in front of them. You're still a little further down from there, but yeah. So, and he's no longer heading toward those doors. Now heading straight at you.
It's great. Puck, get us in the air, and I'm going to run up and engage him in close combat.
Excellent. Okay, so Puck, I'm just going to say, is going to be able to get out of the way because it's Puck.
Puck, he can just go out of the way. Go. Hi.
I'd like to say it looks like a Matrix dodge, but really it just looks like Roadrunner.
Shoot the bang!
All right. So Hamlet, you are charging this thing.
Yes.
So what would you? So you're attempting to dodge its as you're getting closer to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just gonna do this all under one die roll. So what do you want to use?
Okay. So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume I have to get up to him first. So I'm going to get to him. We've got fighter, rapier, dodge, swashbuckler, fancy blade work because I'm using the blade as an actual parrying weapon, disarming, one just cause, and then if I can get up to him, I'm going to use my secret.
Ooh. Yeah. There. That's there. Yeah. Go ahead and do your roll, and we'll see how this goes.
We'll see how.
Oh
this
yeah, that's
goes.
right. 4 successes. You need 4 successes. I'll tell you that first.
Figured.
Yeah.
Figured this wasn't going to be easy. Nothing Hamlet does is easy.
No.
That's 5 successes, though.
Excellent.
And then, so once I get up to him, I'm going to disarm him.
Excellent. You've got that. So, yes, Hamlet has this the secret of disarming. Once per session, if you engage in close combat with someone, you may switch weapons with your opponent.
I'll take the blaster, please, against the sword.
Alex, I'll take string-shaped blasters for 500.
Oh my gosh.
So Hamlet charges forward toward this thing, dodging these plasma bolts that are coming out at the end of this key. Ducks under, and comes back up to switch. What does it look like when you switch weapons here?
Because I've been watching a lot of this lately. There's a really old Errol Flynn movie. I can't remember if it's Captain Blood or Seahawk. I was watching them back to back, where he's got he picks up just an iron bar where he's pirating against somebody to fight against him, and then he flips the weapon and hits the pommel of the other guy's sword, knocks it out of his hand, snatches the sword, and engages with that instead of the
Excellent
iron bar.
I like it. I've got to see that. I still haven't seen Captain Blood. I need to see that. Probably is one of the others. So yeah, you totally do that, and you make it look easy. You knock the thing out, and so he ends up just sort of clutching your sword by the blade, and you've got the blaster. What would you like to do? You level it. What do you want to do?
I would really just like to leave at this moment. I'm quite sure you're obviously engaged. If I hand this back to you, will you shoot it at me?
Must let them out.
Why do you have to let them out? They've been quite happy inside for a very long period of time.
And you just see Puck come out of nowhere and go, yeah, why do you have to let them out?
He said it.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to get the repair done.
Yeah, I was gonna. Before we continue this conversation, I do want to get a repair roll from Falstaff. This will be a difficulty of 3.
Difficulty of 3. All right, this is going to be robotics, and you're going to be doing repair. We'll be doing probably modification since it's not the original power source that the ship has.
Yep.
And I don't know if I would get programming or not because of having to get everything set up to make it work right.
Yeah, you could probably bring programming in on that.
Okay. So robotics, programming. So that would be what?
5 dice so far,
5.
including your die for showing up.
And because we desperately need this to work, I need 3, and I've got 5. I need 3 success. I got 5 die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend another one out of my pool.
Alrighty.
I want to guarantee. I can't goof around on this one. So that would give me what, 6?
Yep.
All right. Because we desperately got to get off this rock. Oh yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well done. So, we know where that's going. So as you're sort of jamming, and you think it's like, okay, yes, that worked. This is gonna work. You think as you're
amazingly, this all makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, it's working.
You have to take off some of the casing and to get it to fit, but you actually are making it work.
Slot A actually goes into tab B goes into slot X, and everything works perfect.
Yes. So. Yeah. So the ghost just continues staring at Hamlet, and
Who are we
says,
letting out of the door?
It's.
Who are we? And he turns to the ghost and says, "Who do you want to let out?"
It's my friend.
Who's your friend?
He's scratching his head for a moment. Henry.
Which one?
Oh yeah, that's important.
Thinking for a second. You can tell that he's had some programming issues as he's trying to talk about this. Six?
Wasn't he the one that died in infancy?
I have no idea.
No, he's the one who married the York girl.
Is that like a peppermint patty?
No, Henry VII married the York girl. Henry VI died, unfortunately, in infancy. Henry V, well, no,
And as you're discussing Unless, you hear all of a sudden the power shoot
going
up,
back up
on the ship.
Well, it's a very pleasure. I'm quite sure you'll enjoy embracing Henry. How about we do this? Puck, we ready to go? Let's go! He's literally just gonna reach out, grab his rapier, pull it back, drop the key, and run.
And as you are running back to your ship, you kind of hear from behind you, "Father sends his regards."
I'll be back to talk to him later!
I think Puck is just kind of like standing there for a moment, like he didn't take off immediately when he was supposed to. And he just kind of goes, "You know, I do kind of feel bad for you." And just picks up the key, runs to the door, unlocks it, and dashes back.
Puck, we're going!
I know!
We need to
door
get
unlocked.
going now.
But you get back in the ship and back into the pilot seat before it can open.
Yeah. Woo! Hello!
And so Puck is flying?
Well,
Yeah.
Is Puck pilot?
I'm the navigator.
Yeah,
but that
Okay,
does
'cause
mean...
I also have a pilot.
Yeah.
Oh, then I'll let you pilot, and I'll figure out where
Navigate?
we're going. Yes!
Sort of, you can do sort of pilot co-pilot type thing.
Yeah.
And
I call it backseat driving.
as you bring up the engines and you're starting to lift up off the ground, and these doors burst open, and this bright light starts shining out. And there seems to be
Shiny.
it's like almost this sonic pulse starts coming up from the inside of the castle, and there will need to be a flying roll involved here to successfully get up and out of here while this is attempting to get at you. It's going to be difficulty 3.
Okay, so question. No, it's not going to matter. So pilot maneuvering, because I need to fly us the hell out of this thing. Evasion to avoid whatever the hell pulsing is coming off. Caution, because you want to be careful flying out of here that we don't crash and burn and also burden the jury-rigged engines. Tricks, because I'm probably going to have to do some very tricky flying to get out of here. There is the obstacle of whatever's going to try and suck us in, because, gravity will be a problem at this point. And I think this whole thing is just straight up Daredevil, right?
We can make that work. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I'd also like to go ahead and add one from my pool to help, because it's the co-pilot and the navigator, and also because I have extremely fast reflexes. I think if there's even like a little bit off, I think Puck's just gonna be like, "Excuse me."
Excellent.
So that's 9.
All right, so yeah, you've got so it's
And I'm giving all the engines all that I can give them, Captain.
Yes. Put more alcohol in them, we'll get there faster.
yes, that's it. That's how it works.
Oh, that's
We're
fine.
all out of Romulan ale. I'll have to use the Klingon. I'll have to use the Klingon instead.
No one. Well, that's quite okay. Nobody actually likes blood wine. Who likes blood wine?
It's hard to know. You would
I
think,
do.
well, they can't get enough of it over on the
Goes
Scottish
good with
asteroid,
dribbles.
but you know that's they like
If
that
it
stuff
has-
over there.
It goes good with deep fried tribbles.
Yeah, if it has wine in the name, I probably like it.
I'm surrounded. Surrounded.
There's never a time when you're not surrounded. Yes, no. So the ship takes off. You manage to get away from this sonic pulse. As this being, just this ghost, you think? It's not. It's hard to say if it's a ghost or what it is. You don't get a very good sight of it because it's sort of on the rear monitors. As you're blasting away, you see this figure just emerging from the doors, but then you leave it behind.
Bye. We'll never know.
And you are shooting away from the Ghost Asteroid. And now the question becomes, what is next?
Well, we should probably save Horatio.
Yes, I'm quite. That is my plan. Ugh. Richard is such an ass.
That is fair.
I mean, his brothers are dicks, but he's an ass.
So together they make a person.
I mean, they're not even that good looking. I don't know if you can actually call them a person.
Usually they just can be a person without having to... Why am I arguing this? I don't know.
Well, now, usually I wouldn't comment on somebody's appearance, but that dick looks like an ass.
You keep saying dick. Are we talking about Richard?
Yes.
Okay, cool, because my attention span is so short.
So
Where are we
DM,
going?
We're going to follow Horatio's trail because he's still. We'll figure that out in a second. But hey, DM.
Yes.
Would you say? I just want to figure out something. So would that be 6 or 7 times I hit that scene?
Oh, let me look again. And
Between key of authority and key of suspicion.
let's see.
Oh, and wait, I just realized I've been constantly using secretive speed.
Yeah. You've been racking up the XP here. So
Just to know, before we go fight the major villain of the piece.
that's a good question. That's a good question.
I think I've been a buffoon at least once or twice.
Yes, you have.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say that it's you got let's see, key of suspicion was at least twice. Key of authority.
Yeah.
I mean, you took charge of the situation, and that's kind of an ongoing thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, you get at least once for that. So I mean, you're gonna come away with at least 3 XP.
Okay.
As far as scroll, key of the buffoon. Yeah, I'd say we give you 1 or 2 XP. Yeah, we can give you 2 XP for that. And actually, largely, this is good. When you hit your keys, you can go ahead and mark it down because we're just on the honor system here. Let's see. And you actually got Key of the Craven there too, though. I will point out because you managed to avoid the thick of battle.
Oh, that's true.
Avoiding combat is what Falstaff does best.
Of course.
Yeah, let's see. Puck hit key of the
if
servant.
you don't fight, you don't die.
Puck hit key of the servant a couple of times.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I think I did hit Key of Impatience at least once when it was like, Puck, don't do that. And I was like, it'll just be a second. And I just...
You did.
Literally, I was like, hold on.
Well,
I'm going to go do the key thing.
Yeah, the key thing, definitely. And then I'd say even Key of the Critic when you actually directly addressed the ghost.
I was like, yeah, no, where's it going? Okay, so that's... I'm going to take, like, 2 for Key of the Servant, 1 for Key of Impatience, 1 for Key of the Critic. Do I... is Secret of Speed, that's not a key, is it?
No, you just do it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and throw in 4 XP.
Excellent. All right, cool.
Actually, I'm going to give myself 3 XP and then add 1 to my pool.
Ah, yes. That is a way to do that. Although you'll have a little. I mean, if you wanted to do refreshment scenes, you can do those. You might have a little time between here and the next place. But
you're right. I'll go ahead and keep 4 XP then.
However you want to do it.
Cool.
But I guess you got to figure out how to get on Horatio's trail.
Well, I figure it's time to tear this ship apart and find whatever overly dramatic, off-meter message Richard left, because you don't kidnap someone without some means of communication.
Ah, yes.
And Richard monologues like nobody's business.
That is fair.
All right, so I guess with my robotics, I can do some under programming and diagnosis to try to find where he had it hidden at and find where it's at.
Yeah, and I'm not going to make you roll for it. It's just a question of taking a little time once you get away from the Ghost Asteroid. And you're there just sort of drifting on the edge of the Branagh cluster.
As long as we avoid Navarre, the singing gets to me every time.
I quite like it.
Of course you would.
What's that mean?
No comment.
Of course you would, and I would join you, and it's a great show.
Aw, thanks. I thought it was going to be something else.
If anything else, the buffet is great.
Yeah, emphasis on the Fae.
So, were you trying to? So let me just ask you for a second. Were you going for buying off your? No, wait, you don't have that. Never mind. No. I'm back. Hi, how's it going? Sorry, brain went in the wrong character place. All right. So you're gonna hunt around, and you're going to find a looks like a little hologram projector.
He's hanging out with Sith.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, a little holo projector of that kind.
Yeah.
It means Richard's even more pretentious than I thought he was.
Entirely possible.
No wonder he ran off with Horatio. He's being a Sithy.
I mean, wouldn't really be my first choice. Alright, let's see what the Englishman pretending to be a Frenchman has to say these days.
Nice. Before you activate the hologram, I have a question that I'm going to ask. This is a little more direct than I think usually happens with in the GM relationship with the players, but this is this system, so we're doing it. So you're about to get a clue that's going to point you in one of 3 directions. It's going to point you either to Andronicus Land, the Death Star, or a Tempest Land. Which of those three places is it going to point you?
I mean, my vote is at this point, we've made so many jokes about it. Obviously, Richard has become a Sith, and he's gone off to join the Death Star.
Obviously.
That's my vote, and I defer to the others to see if they have another opinion.
I mean, my vote was either going to be the Death Star or Tempest Land. I'm perfectly okay with the Death Star. I just think Tempest Land would be just, oh, we're dealing with Jedi and Sith. We might as well get some magic in there to boot.
I mean,
but I like the Death Star.
Let's make it unanimous.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to draw a random card here that might help me figure it out. Okay. All right. So, a hologram appears, and there is you see a hunchback, just sort of looking at, with a long nose, just looking at you and kind of grinning, and so he says, "Well, it is nice to see that you had the ability to locate my little present. I have found a means to take care of the heir, that little problem. But all I ask are 3 days, and your comrade will be returned to you. Do not interfere, and all will be well."
I have to ask, has anyone ever actually come out well on a deal made with Dick? I mean, how many people has he literally stabbed in the back, strangled in their own bath, or caused to commit suicide for themselves after they've agreed to his deal?
This might sound like a rhetorical question, but it really isn't. Is the answer more than one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. More than one.
The answer might be closer to 10.
It's many. It's many.
Yeah, I got ripped off by him on those timeshares at Midsummer Nightland myself, so.
Yeah. Titania's still pissed about that, too.
Oh, well, actually, the Titania thing was my fault.
The Titania thing's always your fault.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
9 times out of 9, it's my fault.
I will say that in the background, however, of the hologram that has been taken, which I know that currently Star Wars holograms don't seem to work this way, but you can sort of catch bits of a background from time to time. You think there's a ship passing behind him that has the Imperial symbol on it, which would indicate that he's probably somewhere close to the Death Star when he's making that transmission. Or, well, not when he's, well, when he recorded that anyway. So that's, that is probably, there is a connection there somehow. He's also wearing a hooded cloak. That probably doesn't help. That probably helps.
He's changed his attire. He's gone full Sith. Yeah. You never go full Sith. You never come back from that.
Never go full Sith.
Well, false. Puck, put in coordinates. We're headed to the Death Star.
All right, give me just a moment. Do I need to roll for that, or do I just know how to put that in?
So, here's the thing about flying to the Death Star. You have to get through the Brannock cluster.
Yeah. Nobody just flies to the Death Star.
Exactly.
Okay.
A lot of little asteroids that you have to navigate around.
Oh, the Branagh cluster. So that's what used to be just Branagh land, but then it exploded.
Yeah, there was this point at which
it was when, he and Emma, they had a fight and they separated the whole thing. And
Yeah. The divorce settlement was catastrophic.
Yeah, it was enough to apparently split a planet.
It was interesting. They had They replicated them here. They had every detail of Much Ado About Nothing just recreated there. And
They had to divide the property in half, literally.
Yeah, it just sort of happened. But yeah, so there is a question of plotting your way through there. So there is sort of major piloting that has to be done as you're entering into it and trying to get around. And then there will be patrols, but we'll get to that later.
Piloting
plotting
or
the
plotting?
course. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Piloting or plotting?
Let me take a look at the sheet here again real quick, just so that I have that thing in front of me. Yay. So you can plot a course through the major ones. There's still, there is still, so that it won't be too rough on the piloting end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is just sort of knowing it's mostly about knowing where the bigger rocks are. So I would say that to successfully, how far? Let me ask you this, Puck. As do you want to plot a course that leads all the way through up to the Death Star itself, or do you just want to plot a course that just leads up to the part where you hit the patrols?
I want to plot a course up to the patrols, because I think past that point, it's going to take some major, not just navigating but maneuvering.
Okay, so that'll just be then a difficulty of 3.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and 1 for showing up, 1 for robotics, 1 for astronavigation, 1 for pathfinding, 1 for directions, 1 for asteroid maps, 1 for ship systems, and that's it.
Yeah, communications are out. There's no way you can use those to help you right now.
I literally was about to say communications, and I went, wait. And then I'll go ahead and I will roll that. So that is 7, right? I said, yeah,
1
7.
for showing up, 1 for astronavigation, pathfinding, directions, maps, systems.
Oh, so 6.
Yeah.
And can I give him 1 as a
Full die?
yeah
Yeah.
for being pilot and commander?
Absolutely.
Cool.
After this is done, Captain, do you want me to attempt repairs on communications?
We might want to see it. Looks like they actually took the parts out.
Okay.
That would be
Let me go
problematic.
ahead.
I'll wait till we finish the piloting here first.
Yeah, I'm going to roll. Oh, no.
Okay, so you have plotted what you think is probably the best course that you are able to see to get you to where the patrols are.
Okay, so real quick, I took that as key of the servant, but I think for that, I'm probably gonna get 2 XP.
For failing your key?
Yeah.
You go into danger because of your key.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because your key led you into trouble. Is going to lead you to trouble. So yeah.
Okay, and then I will go ahead and I have 6 XP at this point. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and spend 5 for an advance.
Awesome.
And for that advance, I'm just going to go ahead and add a tag. I'm going to go ahead and buy one of the other tags, so I'm just going to go ahead and get the tumbling for light-footed.
All right, cool. You got it. Excellent. Yeah, and that totally, whenever you get 5 XP, you can feel free to spend it on the fly like that. So, you've got, there's some tricky points to it where you're not sure if, some things have been, some of the asteroids are moving faster than the others, so it's hard to know if you have the most accurate map, but you do your best. You've got a couple of hours between now and you got a few hours between now and reaching that point. So we have time if you wanted to do any refresh scenes to get back any pool dice that you've lost. That's a refresh scene. Basically, is a point where you just have a conversation with another character and just reveal some character detail or background detail or really anything that sheds light on anything going on in the universe.
In the warped and twisted mind that is robotic players in a Shakespearean play.
Yes.
Well, while this is going on, I go ahead and break into the supplies and lay out some of the finest robotic wine that I can find in the stores and all that. Figure we've gone through something very harrowing, so I'm going to pass out the robotic wine to everybody that helps lubricate our joints and circuitry.
Excellent.
And enjoy a little key of the hedonist in doing so.
Yes.
Figured. Hamlet's gonna take it and just kind of walk back towards his cabin, which is right off the bridge. And now I'm just picturing Firefly with all the cabins literally right off the bridge. Because it makes sense.
Yeah.
For crew quarters. And just kind of stop at the door. Because he can't indulge yet.
And I think Puck will literally appear at the door and go, I think to open it you have to open it.
I'm aware.
Oh, okay. You were just staying there a really long time.
Yep.
Okay. So,
and probably for a while.
Oh. Okay. Well. Yeah. I was wondering, did you ever find out anything from your father?
No, the conversation was cut short, unfortunately.
Oh. Yeah, kind of know how that is. A lot of conversations get cut short. Sometimes they get cut long. Sometimes they get cut sideways.
How is Oberon doing without your beneficial assistance?
Well, he says he's probably going to be a lot better off. I wouldn't know personally.
While he rambles on, I refilled their glasses.
The last I saw him, he was shoving me out of an airlock. So, I think he's probably handling things very well. I was sort of
I should make
meddler.
that. Nothing at all.
Oh, well, I mean, it's okay. I've already dismantled the airlock of this ship.
Oh, I was not going to Puck. If I was going to kill you, I would never send you out an airlock. That would be entirely ineffectual. You have no lungs and do not breathe.
Yeah, that's what I said. But then Oberon couldn't hear me because he closed the airlock. So it was just like, what's the point? Still floating here. I think he was just, it was just like, the whole purpose of the thing. And I was literally just, floating in front of the ship going like, knock, knock. You can let me back in. And let me tell you, I can run fast, but when I get like flung off a ship, I can't move when I'm just hanging there in space. You know, in space, no one can hear you complain or scream or just go, hey, I'm here. Somebody let me talk. I mean, man, can you believe how long, like, and you guys just thought I was this crazy to begin with.
No, I knew. I was always blaming Oberon for all of your problems. I blame Oberon for most of the Fairy's problems. Definitely blame him for Titania's problems.
Wow. No,
All else fails, blame Oberon.
Him or
That is-
Claudius. Or any of the Plantagenets, really.
Well, thank you. No, normally everybody goes, Puck, it's your fault. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry that, you know, when people wake up in the middle of the forest and look at each other, it's not always the people they're supposed to look at.
Now, admittedly, they were just assholes.
That's what I said. But Oberon was like, oh no, Puck, this is all your fault, and just kept hitting me.
Didn't we agree that Oberon was a dick? I thought we agreed that Oberon was a dick.
I thought that was Richard. I thought it was like,
Well, no,
Oh.
that dick is an ass.
Oh, didn't you know his name was Richard Oberon?
wait. Wait, are you telling me that in this current timeline of timelines, where we're at in this stage in time, this Richard III is also Oberon?
No, this is a different Richard.
Oh, that would be.
Richard
Very-
Oberon is not Richard III.
No.
They're both, however, dicks, and they're both, however, assholes.
Okay, so my thought is,
Richard J. Oberon, King of the Night. That's what it says on his business cards.
okay, so
He thought he needed a more English name. Titania was sleeping with all those Englishmen.
oh, I thought you just meant he needed a more like Othello.
No. Othello has his own issues. Last I heard, Desdemona actually finally revolted against him, and
Yeah. Besides, Tatiana decided she didn't need any more.
It's sort of funny what happens when your main antagonist goes off to run the information network for the for another antagonist. So.
It's such a difficult time keeping track, and people are like, yeah, who cares about Puck? What's his real name? Who cares? We'll just call him Puck, and it's Puck. And I'm like, well,
I mean, you are Robin, correct? Robin Goodfellow. You haven't changed that in the last 1,000 years, have you?
yeah, just nobody calls me that. You know, people are just like, hey, Puck, or hey, you, or please come back. Don't run away with that key. You're running straight into danger. Oh my god.
No, Robin, I will not yell it. I will not take that long to tell you not to run straight into danger.
Oh, no. That wasn't you. That was an earlier incident.
Like I said, I wouldn't take that long to waste my time doing that. I just remove the danger. It becomes
So
more efficient.
I walk up to Puck and I take the now empty robotic wine bottle. I tap him on one shoulder, one other shoulder, and top of the head. I now dub thee Sir Robin.
As long as he's not a Loxley. We have too many Plantagenets running around as it is.
It's all right. I'll just, I'll
You
be.
are now Sir Robin the Goodfellow.
Oh, I'll just be like brave and bold, bravely bold, Sir Robin.
Yeah,
You can
Yes,
boldly,
there's
you
a-
can
there's a-
boldly, you can now boldly go where you have never gone before.
Ah, yes, the Monty Python Star Trek overlay that I never knew I needed.
it is a weird thing that Shakespeare did write this. Apparently, this thing about this thing with this whole ballad about a brave Sir Robin, but I'm not sure what the.
Yeah, okay.
Something Arthurian. It's hard to say.
Well, this has been enlightening. I'm gonna go make sure that we don't
crash and die.
Wow, you took the words.
Yes, go get back to that.
Yeah, I'll go do that.
Go forth, Sir Robin.
Not dying is good. I just like the idea, by the way, if I may say, that Puck has gotten into this situation where he grabbed the key before. This is not the first time that he's done this.
I mean,
yeah. With this many years of history, I'm thinking, like, this was probably in his programming before he became sentient.
Totally makes sense.
It's
don't
probably...
touch the thing. Robin touches the thing.
Right. He doesn't ever hear the word don't, which is a problem.
That can be a problem. That can be an issue.
It's like, don't touch the thing. Don't do this. Don't crash us into an asteroid. Why would I crash us into an asteroid?
There we go.
Right? I'm in my right mind.
Well, I'm in my left mind, so I'm okay.
Yeah, that's why we always hide any big red buttons, so that way he doesn't push them.
I made sure that all the buttons on this ship were black. They all match.
Okay.
Oh, and incidentally, I've updated the overlay so that we have that now. But did anyone else have any other refreshing they wanted to do while this is going on?
I love that.
I can't see it, so someone has to tell me.
You are now officially Sir Robin
Goodfellow.
Yay! Oh. But Puck is shorter, so I totally understand if in times of crises, everybody's like, Puck, and I'm like, I will answer to that.
Yes. Well, I appreciate that. And by the way, I'm going to take that key of sanity point. And
Was there anything else anyone wanted to do during the time of refreshment?
I will eventually, once the wine is drained finally out of the bottle and the glass, I'm going to go to try to repair the communication. I want to see if I can repair the communication systems. Okay. Figuring he may have taken parts, but there may be some other leftover parts here on the ship that I might be able to trick into place. It
is kind of tricky when you're pressing a black button on a black console, because then the black light lights up black to let you know you've done it. Yes. So you have all got your pools back.
Mm-hmm.
During this time of refreshment, and
I'm going to spend that 5 XP that I have and take that real important piloting trait tag.
Oh yeah. I can't imagine that's going to come up. Oh wait.
At all. Where are we?
Right.
Oh wait.
Yeah. I don't expect. Don't worry, you failed, but you still succeed.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna have to pilot us out, and I took a thing.
So yes, Falstaff is attempting to. Sir John is attempting to repair the communication system. So that's going to be first.
So myself.
And I think. Is that that's what you're trying to do? Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do, is repair the communications.
Okay. Because you are going to have to, they took the parts, so you're going to have to cobble it together from other things to see if you can get a signal. I find all the
shoestrings and baling wire I can find.
Yeah.
I mean, I do keep a relatively stable selection of spare parts. It's locked in a secret cupboard behind Falstaff's bed, but.
Is that what that is? I've been trying to pick the lock just so I could stash some of my own ale in there, and I haven't been able to get it open yet.
Oh, yeah, that might. I mean, that might be because I also broke the lock. It's still attached, but trying to pick it at this point is probably useless.
It was never a lock to begin with. You didn't actually unlock it. You just pulled it up and turned it the other way.
I mean, yeah.
Of course.
Move the latch.
I turned it the other direction. No wonder it wouldn't open.
Yeah, I just kept turning it back.
You know, for
All right.
for someone for someone with an understanding of engineering, it's kind of odd that it didn't occur to you to turn the thing around and just try to break open the back. Anyway, just unscrew the thing and open it.
Just hit the hinges on the outside.
So,
Makes more
all right.
sense.
So I gather repair parts. So we get the
so I
myself.
think this is going to be. Let's make this difficulty 3.
Okay, so
You
I
have
got
enough parts.
repair, probably modification of the parts, diagnosing what they actually did to it, plus my own presence there. So that would be what, 4?
Mm-hmm.
And I will spend 1 out of my pool for that. Make it 5. Because I want to impress my captain with my repair skills.
If you like, I will go ahead and say that this roll technically is one of those things that can be started prior to the refreshment.
Okay.
Just for that.
All right. Ooh, only 2.
Okay.
Didn't work.
So you are able to get the communications system together of a sort. It's not ideal. So
Is it only broadcasting in
Yeah.
Mandarin?
I think that I think that it's that you can
It's stuck
you
on
can
the Klingon
send,
channel.
but you're not sure. But you still can't receive. You can't receive very clearly.
We have some communications, Captain.
Well, at least it's no longer a gaping hole with electric running through it that will distract Robin.
That is true.
I mean, I'll find another way.
You being distracted is fine. You sticking your finger in live electricals and short wiring yourself is not preferred.
Oh, you mean like the shock wire? You know, I call it that because, you know, when you touch it,
Nope.
you die.
I don't think that's a good idea at the moment.
Not at all.
no.
Not at all.
So, I think what happens here is that as you are, so you're starting to pick something up. You're not sure what it is because you can't hear the exact communication ping. What it is? It's more you get the ping, but you don't get what it is. You can't get the signal properly. So you know somebody's broadcasting, and eventually the signal gets stronger. And you're just sort of barely deciphering, sort of as you're looking, that there's sort of on the carrier signal. You eventually, as you're rounding a particularly large asteroid, you come to realize that the signal is a buoy that's been put there somewhere. You think that is essentially saying keep away. And as you come around the other side of the asteroid, you see three very large triangular-shaped ships. As it appears that your course has dropped you right into the middle of Lord Vader's fleet. And
Robin, out of the seat, mine now.
I believe this is where we're going to take a break.
I am okay with that. Because I am hungry, but I am okay with that.
Evasive maneuvers! Evasive maneuvers!
So we're going to take a few minutes, and then we will be back. So we will
right.
see you all shortly. We have returned! Yay! And we just dumped these folks due to some slight difficulty with the astronavigation. They ended up right in the middle of the Imperial fleet. Well, it's not really an empire too much anymore as such. The robot that survived was Darth Vader because, of course, and he's kind of carved out his own sort of fiefdom, his own kingdom amongst the various other kingdoms, and that would be for the Death Star. So you've got these large triangle-shaped ships. There are like 3 of them between you, and in the distance you see this thing that looks like it could be a moon, but you know better.
Important theater of the mind question. Is this Death Star wholly intact?
It is. This is a full-scale Death Star. There are rumors that there is a second Death Star somewhere, but the park shut down before they finished it, and it might be out there somewhere, out beyond Andronicus land. It's hard to know. But this is the quote-unquote original Death Star, with all of the merits and flaws that particular one possessed.
Okay.
So,
evasive maneuvers.
Yeah, so you got these ships coming at you. They kind of have that sort of they're starting to head in your direction. They have the sort of globe motifs and 2 little sort of wings off the side, the sort of straight panel like things. You know the kind.
That Vader is so territorial.
He is. He really is.
Maybe they're friendly.
Have you ever met an Imperial who was friendly?
I haven't met an Imperial.
We don't need to meet one now. That's why we're flying around them very quickly.
Got it. Okay.
I have an appointment. My sword needs to meet Richard's throat, and I have a companion to pick up.
So you are taking evasive maneuvers, and I need to know kind of how you're doing this, and
with a great deal of skill and cunning. That's how we were doing this.
No, my cunning will come in later. So, are we rolling for it?
Well, there will be a roll, but I'm trying to figure out kind of for the context for it. Like, are you going back into the asteroids? Are you coming out and just trying to evade them out in the open? Are you using another ship as a thing? What are you doing?
I'm going to swing up through the asteroids and go above them and then down around them. Because everyone forgets that Z is an axis in space.
Gotcha. Okay, so you are using the asteroids, but just a little bit, just the edge of them, and going in.
Kind of using them as a slingshot to, use their slight gravitational pull, throw them over, and...
Cool. I like this. Looking that over then... So, this is before you get into, like, an active dogfight with them. So yes, I'm going to just leave.
That comes later.
Yeah, that comes later. Yeah. They haven't attacked or anything. They're just approaching. So I'm just going to leave this at difficulty 4.
Okay. So pilot. Well, just because pilot, maneuvering because it's going to take some skill to get there. Evasion, caution, but tricks because you're being tricky in how you're flying. Obstacles because they're an obstacle and the asteroids are obstacles. I would say that this is a daredevil because really nothing else would be. Tractor beams because I need to avoid their tractor beams that I know that they have. And just because I like round numbers, I'll take one from my pool.
All right.
And just because I like round numbers, I'm going to go ahead and take one from my pool and help.
Yes, my co-pilot can help.
Great, you're rounding it up to 11, okay.
We're turning it up to 11.
Everything's better than 11.
That's how it works, right?
Yes,
I
I'm
know
sure it
better
does
than-
in some kind of math.
I know numbers.
As long as we don't suddenly have this very, very small Stonehenge emerge in front of us, we'll be fine. Just giving the DM ideas. Something I can fly around, it's fine. That's 8 successes.
That's many. All right, that's twice the number of successes you needed. So yeah, you just basically pull that thing where you fly around, and they come back around the asteroids, and they can't find you.
Because they're looking here instead of up here. Because they forget that Z is an axis.
Exactly.
It's
Freaking Imperials.
freaking everybody.
Well,
This
I
is-
mean,
It's true.
especially now, they're robots.
Yeah, that's the weird thing is that the I guess in the Star Wars universe, this version of the Star Wars universe, there's not so much of a stigma against droids anymore, since that's everyone.
There is no stigma against droids. They're just very efficient at what they do. But they can't think for shit.
Yeah, they only think linearly.
Oh,
This is
no, it's probably but it's probably like reversed for like Darth Vader. So instead of being like a mostly human body supported by like all of this tech, it's a mostly tech body that for some reason has like a human arm.
Or at least
like,
it appears that way.
yeah. It's just like I don't understand what you're trying to
It's all
do.
robotic, except he's got, instead of the artificial hand, he's got the human hand.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be creepy as fuck after like, preservation like. Sorry, now I'm
Anyway,
moving on.
right.
So yes, I'm
Out of the rabbit
flying the fuck out of these guys. Excuse me, I shouldn't curse on your stream without permission.
Feel
Alright,
free.
yeah, I fly the Hamlet very deftly flies the fuck out of those things.
Excellent. All
Can,
right.
can I make one of them crash?
Yeah, you got eye enough. Yeah, that's one of them
you
thinks
gotta
they're right after
understand
you,
it
and
when
they
running
come
into
up,
the
and
asteroid as you're going up.
they didn't see that part of the asteroid. And you evade the fleet because that was such a good roll. You can get right around them, and you slingshot around, and you're heading toward the Death Star on the other side.
Okay.
Can we... Falstaff,
Yes, Captain.
that recording that Dick left us,
Mm-hmm.
are there any encodings for transmission frequency that we could possibly let him know we're coming?
I can certainly try, Captain.
I mean, I'm assuming he's on the Death Star, but I don't know that we actually want to... I mean, we might want to wait on that until we're literally there, but
I will begin searching now.
if we can find out if he's not actually on the Death Star, it'd be useful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Myself.
that'd be really awkward.
This would definitely need to be programming, modification to try to be able to track the signal.
So, just for clarity, what is it you're trying to do with this? Are you trying to track him, or are you trying to send him a message, or what's going on?
Trying to see if we could... I want Falstaff to see if he can find the message, to see if he can... If there's any geosyncrasies encoded in it, or any frequency encoded. If he could find... So that way he could see if he could... If we wanted to track him to make sure... Because we know generally where he is, but we don't know that he's specifically on the Death Star itself.
Right.
And then if we need to, possibly send him a message. But finding him first would be useful.
Okay.
I'm making it complicated for my DM.
No problem. No, I just keep... I can... The more complicated it gets, I can just up the difficulty.
I know.
I'm gonna say... No, I just want to figure it out. So yeah, we'll say this is gonna be difficulty 4. To try to sort of track it back and figure out where he is using that, and be able to open a line of communication if you desire. So yeah, now you go ahead and begin gathering your dice.
Okay. Repair. Let's see. Myself. Programming. Gonna be modification, because I'm gonna have to modify the signal coming through. from him. The
So it's you showing up, robotics, modification.
I'm trying to see what else I can do. I don't know if diagnosis would, or
Diagnosis would work.
Yeah, diagnosis, maybe deactivation, and make sure that he can't track us back until we want him to.
Good.
And repair, I don't know if repair would fit because I'm actually modifying, I'm not actually fixing it.
I mean, but you do have to repair our communications array. Because
that's right. I've got it because our communications are messed up.
That'll work.
For that, so. All right, so that gives me 6, and I need 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to spend 2 of my pool. That'll give me 8 to roll.
Yeah, 8.
Okay, 8 to roll. All right, let's give this puppy a whirl. Woo!
You got it. Okay. So yes, you managed to figure it out. You can get it to kind of do this sort of it's like a radar type thing almost, right? Where it can send out, but they're not going to be able to say what direction the ping is coming from, because it's actually a frequency that he gave you. Because he just had to leave you with that communicator. He had to.
He monologues too much.
Gloat. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
He had to leave it in there so he could monologue even longer if he wanted to.
It's important. It's very important. And so. Yeah, you're able to quickly get a sort of a signal, an origin signal from a sort of a pingback from him, and he actually is not on the Death Star. It looks like he is in the triangular shapeshift closest to the Death Star, the Imperial battle cruiser. I can't remember the name. I'm such a bad nerd.
Imperial Star Destroyer or the Imperial. The Star Destroyer, or
the thing that's shaped like a slice of pizza.
The Star Destroyer.
The Star Destroyer, an Imperial Star Destroyer. Yes, good lord. I should know these things.
Wish my son was here. He could have told us right off.
The Imperial Star Destroyer, that is closest to the Death Star. It's so there is it's not actually one of the 3 that you were seeing.
Evaded.
This is another one that was sort of around back.
Because of course.
Yeah. Hiding in back in dry dock.
Okay.
I was just thinking crap.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably don't want to get on the actual Death Star.
It is pretty close to I will say, actually, the dry dock thing's not too far off, because it's pretty much what they're doing. It is, like, right next to it, so it's got little ships flitting back and forth, so that there's some sort of equipment thing going on. It's not in the bay, so there's apparently some sort of thing going on with it. Looks actually kind of newish, which is weird.
Question for the DM.
Yes?
Ship size, the Burbage, our ship.
Yes.
If I were to compare it to another vessel and say the Millennium Falcon, would that be correct proportionality size for ours?
The Burbage is a medium-sized ship.
So bigger than the Falcon?
So let me actually look back and see what I said about it. I think I put the Falcon in the things. Yeah, it's a cargo ship, so yeah, it's roughly that size.
Okay, good. I do believe our best bet might be using their own radar systems against them and flying through the actual channels of the Death Star and using that as a slingshot onto the other vessel.
I like this plan.
Indubitably, Captain.
I have no idea what you just said, but it sounded authoritative, so I'm going to say yes.
Oh, good. You think it sounds authoritative. I appreciate that.
It does. You've given a couple of orders and they've been followed.
It's like... Excuse me. So I think we should move through the channels, use their own radar systems against them, fly over, and approach from the dark side of their tractor beams.
Yes.
Aren't they like
Tractor beam, I love it.
one with the dark? Aren't they like one with the dark side or something?
It's all dark side on that ship.
They like to think they are. They're a little overdramatic.
Even more
Okay.
overdramatic than you?
Yes.
That's not
I at
good.
least achieved my goals and killed who I wanted to kill. In theory.
I would have almost thought that'd be impossible.
I said in theory.
In theory.
Well, when the programming functions correctly and we're performing the thing, yes, in this original story, I do actually achieve my goals. They don't.
Yeah, they're dead.
Further up and further in, let's go.
So, based on my previous role, and you said avoidance, have we been spotted yet?
No, you're still. They haven't seen you.
Okay.
So it's actually that's going to make this one easier for your plan. So I am going to drop that down to a 3.
Okay.
To just you are slingshotting again, so it's going to be at least a 3. But yeah, you're coming into one of the canals, and you can kind of come up underneath the thing and get into the
And just kind of hang out in that section right underneath where, behind the bridge tower.
Yeah, kind of. We sort of, if you're like coming up, this would be. Folks can't see the document, but this is a 3D model of the Burbage, basically, and so you're going to be coming up, just like kind of underneath the thing and clamping on, or behind the bridge tower, So you're kind of
exactly.
on the side. Kind of on the side of it like this.
Yeah,
So, there. That's
when the Falcon does this and is kind of hiding behind that tower.
Goes right in.
Yeah, if it's red, it works. We're good.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Well, don't say that too soon. That always curses us. Also, put that out. You don't want to smoke here.
Okay, I put that away and I go back to chomping on my turkey leg.
Yeah.
That works. You can have those. Those are for after. You don't celebrate before, you celebrate after.
I think he celebrates before and after.
This is my pre-celebratory one.
No. We don't celebrate before. It curses us as bad luck.
I put it back in my lunchbox for later.
Remember, there's that whole story about that mythic story about the time that those horrible people came to the Earth and they celebrated. They don't celebrate early. No. Don't do that.
Okay.
Sorry, I watch a lot of science fiction.
I actually can't place what it is right now in the back of my head. I'll figure it
The
out.
celebratory cigar that you don't light up until after the fat lady sings.
Yep.
I'm utterly lost right now.
18.
What?
It is officially 22 years old this year, according.
I will go back and double check this when I have a moment, as apparently there's a gap somewhere in my memory of things.
Okay, so I will give you that spoiler that is Will Smith's line to
That one. That's I blocked that out.
That Independence Day movie.
Yeah, that one.
Decent
Yeah,
movie.
I saw it, but I saw it in the theater, so it's been a while.
Yeah, no. You don't light the cigar until after the fat lady sings.
It's been so long.
Okay, sorry, moving on.
Right, yes. Sorry, no.
We're doing this. We're ADD as hell. So, alright, so maneuvering again around the Death Star and where we need to be. Evasion for evading their patrols. Caution, because I'm assuming this is very easy to screw up. Tricks because we're literally tricking them. The obstacles are the ships themselves. Daredevil because this is daring as fuck. Tractor beams, again, to avoid that. Pilot because, and just because, that gives us 9. Again, I think I'll take that one from my pool just to have that round number. So Robin, are you... you might want to hold on to something.
All right, I hold on to my shoulder.
Oh, good.
There. It'll be all right.
Everything will be fine.
No, it won't! Shit!
Okay.
Well, I had to fail one time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was kind of on a roll for being the only one to really fail.
So, here's the thing about using the Death Star trench. They kind of have had people try that before.
Probably.
So once you're in there, you note that there is a light starts flashing, and you see that they have detected you. So you're able to make the maneuver and get into the blind spot of the Star Destroyer. You're able to quickly come back up before the towers start shooting at you. And you're able to actually make that landing you were looking for. You know, you're clumped up. If you wish, you can make it, and they won't be able to see you there, but you know if you move, they're going to spot you. So they know you're around.
Oh, well, I'm gonna take that opportunity. I mean... there really isn't any other option at the moment.
I have an idea.
Okay.
How close is the Star Destroyer? Because, I mean... this is going to sound a little crazy. If I got a running head start and then used the speed of the launch to basically launch myself like a bullet into the Star Destroyer, could I hit it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you could, like I had said, you'd be able to position yourself on the thing if you wanted to, but
we're hiding in the shadow of their tower.
Okay. So
we could literally shove you out the airlock that you've locked us out of and be right there.
You know how I said I locked you guys out of it? I didn't lock myself out.
Well, that's good.
I figured if anyone was going to get shot out of that airlock, it was either going to be me or like a duplicate of me, because there's been instances where that has happened.
There's more of you around?
Manner of speaking. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to know what you and Oberon got up to.
Oh, please. Oberon can handle this.
Oberon can't handle a lot of things, that's very obvious. That's why he doesn't live with his wife.
Right, we don't tell him those things. Anyways, my thought is,
That's the
okay.
trouble with being a shapeshifter. You're never sure how many of you there really are. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but you actually just hit the nail on the head. What if I shape change into something else?
I mean, we're inorganic. That would make some sort of sense.
Right. What if I just kind of transform into an asteroid?
And then hit them?
Yes. They won't, like, think anything of it. They'll be like, oh, random asteroid. And then I can sneak on board.
I like it. Do it.
Ah, yay! Okay,
So
cool.
crazy, it just might work.
And I think
I'm
before
suspicious
he...
of this working, but it might work.
Yeah, but before Falstaff can even, like, get out, like, this just might work, Puck is like, great! And just, like, it's a simultaneous thing of, like, him taking off and, like, the asteroid transformation happening, and he is just going to shoot off like a rocket in a boom.
Okay, so just so I can see where we're going with this,
Yeah.
you want to hit them as an asteroid, a small puck-sized asteroid, roughly.
Meteor.
Yeah.
Small meteor. Space chunk.
Meteor.
Space fuck.
Grab onto it somewhere and move yourself around on the hull until you find a door. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. This should be pretty easy.
Really?
Really difficulty 4.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna think. So I'm gonna. Okay, so quick question about traits. Can I only use one trait per roll?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then in that case, I am going to go ahead and make use of light-footed.
Okay.
So that's 1 for being there, 1 for light-footed, 1 for quick, 1 for stealthy, 1 for agile, 1 for reflexes, 1 for fast acting, 1 for running, 1 for escape because I'm escaping the ship.
And you're escaping detection.
Ah, yes, escaping detection.
I'm only going to give it to you because you shot off without waiting to see what they were going to say.
Right. Which in that case, I'm also going to go ahead and say key of patience. So I give myself 1 XP there. But also, I'm going to go ahead and use tumbling because I feel like.
Well, you're you're a meteor, so that's what meteors do.
Right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to go ahead and, just for the hell of it, use 2 from my pool.
All right. Oh, nice.
Yep.
Now let's crash in with destroy the ship, and destroy Horatio in the process.
Everything.
We're gonna really hope that doesn't happen. But hey! Oh!
That is so
You needed those.
lucky.
4 successes for everyone in the chat. That's 4 for 4 exactly. And I got 1 less. Would have gone very badly. But it
Nice. That's excellent. Okay. Okay then. So you manage it. You actually. So this asteroid skitters across their visual field, the window for a minute, during which. There's basically it's a bridge crew, and
The Star Wars bridge crew, not a Star Trek bridge crew.
yes, different thing entirely.
Yep.
Yeah, Star Trek would investigate what the heck just happened.
And you come down and across, and you come down the. You're coming down the sort of the top and the back of the tower.
Yeah.
And presumably, I mean, there probably is an access hatch in the tower.
Okay.
In the bridge tower, where you can get in somewhere at the back, I would think.
Okay. And when I get in, I assume that once that happens and I enter, gravity sets back in.
Yes, they do have. They've got themselves some gravity.
Okay, cool. So I drop down, and then to no one in particular, I go, I'm in.
We can hear you.
You have communicators.
Comms.
Oh, good. Sorry, I didn't know if I'd forgotten to bring mine in the haste of just I don't know if this will work. Whee!
In your haste, you forgot to leave it behind.
Yes.
Ah. Yes.
He can't do that anymore. Remember, we made it surgically implanted.
Yeah. Also, you kind of took out some important things, and sometimes I lay awake at night wondering what those are.
It was just your kidneys. It's fine. You don't actually need those.
You make another one.
Good to know. That's something I didn't know going in. All right. So I am going to, as quiet and stealthily as possible, because I've got actually a decent sense of direction, I'm going to go ahead and just basically I'm going to see if I can find a way. Well, okay, you guys are on the communicators, so now that I'm in, anyone have any suggestions as to what I should do? Because I would love...
Disguise yourself so you look like one of the actual people, like you're supposed to be there.
Right, because right now I still look like an asteroid.
Yeah.
So
That might be a giveaway.
I'm going to quickly change into my best approximation of Peter Cushing.
No, don't go for an officer. Those are too regulated and
And people will come up to you, ask you questions. You want to be a buck private.
Okay. I will do my best.
The lower in rank you are, the more likely they will be to ignore you.
Okay. Best idea. I am going to shapeshift to look like a service droid.
Okay, that works.
Yeah. And I'm just going to go ahead. So, help me out. Where should I?
Well, we're going to do a double thing. Find a quiet corner for a second. Falstaff.
Yes.
What I want you to do is get that dickish asshole back on the line.
Okay.
And I want black out the background behind us. We are not crazy people. Our bridge does not have windows.
Where are you guys?
Matter. Make sure he can't trace the back ping.
Yep.
And try and see if you can track him at the same time.
Okay. We're looking for Richard, not Horatio, correct?
Oh, Richard. I'm assuming he's going to answer the phone. If Horatio could answer the line, then everything would have been solved hours ago.
I was just thinking if we wanted to, we're going to need to find her, but our focus needs to be on him. All right. So I guess this would be similar process that we did before for the setup for getting the tracking where he is.
Well, you've already set it up so that you can message him.
Exactly.
So you're not going to have to do another roll for this.
Okay.
You can communicate with him using that thing.
Well, do we need to do anything to mask it so they can't see the bridge or where we are or anything?
Well, I mean, our bridge should be like just a bridge. They shouldn't see anything behind it.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I
We
mean,
don't have any windows, so
drapes. You're good.
Yeah.
You can have a green screen if you want and just project like a beach or something.
Yeah, I love the ET poster in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, I have that green screen of that throne room that I used to annoy my uncle with. We could do that.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's just let's go for the dramatic. Captain Hamlet. Let's keep you in character here.
I mean,
the Elsinore throne room.
Oh, look, Dick, I'm actually one who's going to sit in this seat one day. You won't.
I set everything up. I patched everything. You're on the air in 3, 2, 1, go.
And so you see this hologram of Richard III as he just sort of is in the middle of something. He's talking to somebody. He's just sort of leaning over. He says, "There is no one moment. I must get that."
And an aside, just before we started this, the conversation is, "Hey, Falstaff, once you find out where on the ship exactly he is, let Robin know where he's going."
Okay. As soon as I get the coordinates, I give them to Sir Robin.
So he's taking it out, and he says, and as he's taking the thing out, he says, "What is it now? I'm a little bit." Oh.
You called, Dick.
I did.
You have my attention. You also have something I would like back.
I see that you have decided to pay us a visit.
Possibly. Possibly not, actually. I mean, where are you? Still hanging out with the Plantagenets, I see.
And yeah, you can kind of see that he's in actually what looks like a sort of, he's on a flight deck of some kind. And,
He's in one of the random halls of the Star Destroyer.
quick! I've got to roll on the random Star Destroyer location table. So.
It's okay.
I simply told you that if you'd merely wait, your companion will be returned to you.
When has anyone actually gotten what they wanted out of a deal with you, Dick?
My understanding is that you have little interest, little interest in your throne, and this image with which you adorn yourself is but a mere mockery.
I mean, it's a very comfortable chair. I do enjoy the very comfortable chair. The politics of the situation is much more complex than your little English mind could possibly comprehend. Remember when we conquered you? Twice?
He says, but we adapted. We're very good at that.
Yes, you became French.
He says, he says in French, well, sometimes one must, there is a time to work with allies, and sometimes there is not. And he switches back to English. But I would think that you of all people would be understanding of that.
I'm not really trusting. And he responds in French because he's educated. Also, realistically speaking, one of us was trained for a throne and one of us really wasn't. Also, I never tried to sleep with my brother's wife over the dead body.
He just sort of looks and he says, he sort of shrugs.
Didn't work out so well for you, did it?
That is the interesting thing about our existence here. One can have as many winters as one desires, and one can but keep trying.
And failing again and again and again to the point at which your own mother decided that you were not worthy of her attentions, or affections, I believe.
There is a way to end the cycle. I have discovered it, and I am simply about to reap its benefits. Something that should not harm you directly in any way. And yet,
why did you need Horatio for that?
Well, he has certain intelligences of which we wish to avail ourselves.
I'm quite sure that his intelligence is, well, brilliant. The man is extremely intelligent. I spent quite a deal of my time with that gentleman. However, I'm quite sure that there are more things in that world that are dreamt of than in his philosophies.
Yes, he does rather have that problem.
I don't think that if you wanted outside-the-box thinking, you really came to the wrong member of the crew.
He knows enough.
And subtle mute. How we doing?
You've got a fix on where he. Yeah, you've pretty much got a. Oh yeah, that's right. You're trying to pick up him specifically here, so I think that we will go ahead and call for a thing. Falstaff, you are trying to get a fix on his location and get that transmitted to Puck. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. This is only going to be a difficulty of 2.
Okay. All right, so this will definitely be programming. Let's see. Modifying it to make sure that they can't trace me back.
Okay.
Deactivating anything that they've got that would be blocking the signal.
Okay.
And diagnosing what kind of system they have to be able to send it properly.
Cool, cool.
And plus myself, so that'll be 5, and I need 2.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm going to throw in 1 extra for insurance.
Okay.
That'll give me 6. Here we go. All right, we got it.
3 successes.
Yes.
So you find the
With them despair, and I was able to even throw a virus into their system.
Yeah, you're actually able to
From a Mac, it's so surprising.
I know. Right? You actually, I mean, if you want that to be an extra thing that you're doing here, you can introduce a virus at least to block not only what you're doing.
That'll scramble anything that tries to track us down at all.
Sure. No, you got it. So you've now got it set up so that not only can you tell Puck where Richard III is, and you all now know exactly, you've pinpointed where he is, but their sensors are not going to pick any of you up. If just individually, so it's automatically going to bounce back whenever they're detecting any of you. So they actually have to be in the room with you to see you.
Okay. And once I get the coordinates, I think Puck, as droid Puck, quite literally just it's like Revenge of the Sith in the beginning with like R2-D2, where suddenly it goes from like, oh, he's off in the corner, to, all right, now I'm gonna go do my thing, and just suddenly like lights up and starts like, woo.
All right, yes.
With a purpose.
What does this droid look like?
So there's, trying to remember, there's like some sort of droid. I mean, it basically, it's funny because I think Puck hasn't met an Imperial like officer, but he knows of Imperial droids, and so I think he just kind of like automatically like shifts into basically it's like the black R2-D2 that was I don't remember the name of it, but it was like in Revenge of the Sith or whatever, where it was like they had a little face off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you've got so where are you headed? Are you headed? Well, okay. Let me tell you where he is. So Richard is on the forward flight deck, and that's basically, you introduce the virus, so that's the extra thing. So he is. Yeah, you pinpointed exactly where he is. So he's on the sort of the inner portion. He's not like right out by the ships.
Okay. I'm basically going to head directly there, barring any obstacles.
Okay.
And Hamlet's going to continue to taunt Richard and keep him distracted.
Okay.
And possibly get him to monologue.
Excellent.
If he does that.
I think that the effectiveness of this should also be tested.
Sure, yeah.
How distracted do you want him, I think, is the question.
Oh, you mean I can do that. So, very distracted. I want him focused all on me. It's all about me, because Puck's gonna come up there and just mess him up and get Horatio back. So 1 for just cause. Well, what's my DC?
Yeah, I'm determining
how intelligent Richard is.
Yeah, he wasn't born yesterday. This
is
version
true.
of him, at least.
That's okay. I've got a thing if I need it.
So I'm gonna say that this will be if you want to get, if you're trying to get his full attention and actually get past him to the point that he's gonna,
monologue
he's
incessantly.
gonna monologue and not pay any attention to what's going on otherwise, I'm gonna give that a 5. That's gonna be really tough.
Okay. 1 for showing up. Cunning. Actor. Because he is acting.
Mm-hmm.
Deception because I'm lying my ass off. This is a mad-ass scheme, wouldn't you say?
Yes, indeed.
Attempting to be very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take 3 from my pool
All right.
to make it 9.
And
Okay.
I will throw in 1 out of mine with my ability of persuasion.
So how is Falstaff getting in on this?
Well, he's running the...
I get, while she's talking, I'm able to control the color and the sound and everything to make it nice and bold to really grab his attention.
Excellent. Okay. Try to prey on his thoughts and insecurities. Excellent. Okay.
So that's 10.
Mm-hmm. So that is going to be 10 dice. You're going for a 5.
See how this works? 6! Yes! 6 successes!
Excellent.
And I didn't even need to use the thing. I mean, he really wants to monologue.
He does.
Go on, you want a monologue so bad.
So the thing is, I was looking for I was looking for that final the later one, and I don't know if that's actually a monologue so much as it's just him just getting
My
ticked
horse,
off.
my kingdom for a horse.
Well, not some of that, right? So you probably managed to trigger you managed to trigger a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trigger a dialogue loop in his circuitry.
And in his circuitry, and he comes up. What shall I say more than I have inferred? Remember whom you are to cope withal. A sort of vagabonds, rascals, and runaways, a scum of Bretons and base lackey peasants, whom their o'er-cloyed country vomits forth to desperate ventures and assured destruction. And he keeps going on and on. As you've kind of ticked him off, and you can see smoke sort of curling out of one of his ears. So that goes on. And so Puck, you hear this as you're coming. What is anyone else doing anything besides this whilst he's monologuing?
Depends if I could retcon something or not.
What are we looking at?
I was thinking with us being in the crew and all that, and the captain needed to know where we're all times. At one point, would we put like transponders or beacons on ourselves so our captain could track where we were?
Yeah, you could have that.
Okay, if we're able to retcon that, then I'm gonna try to lock in on Horatio's signal.
Very good. Whilst that is going on, that will be a difficulty of 4.
Okay.
In which case, yeah.
So that's programming, modification, for sure. Let's see. Deactivation again to block, and diagnosis blocking. They're trying to intercept my signal. 1 for just being there, so that's 5. And you said I need what, 2?
I think that's actually 6 if I'm reading this.
Is that 6?
You're 6.
Did I miscount? That is okay. And I need what, 2? You said. What did you say I need for this?
Difficulty's 4.
Difficulty's 4. Okay, and then I'll throw in 2 more of my own.
Okay.
Make that 8.
You know what? I think I can help a little bit.
Okay.
One of the other benefits of being me is that I've got a lovely little fairy type thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and basically just, additionally to assist with the blocking and everything, I'm just kind of going to as I'm moving along as a droid, just kind of like mutter under my breath a little hex to kind of scramble things more.
Ah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. That'll give another die over to that.
So that's 9.
9. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
9. Yeah, 9
Okay.
dice.
All right. Ready? Here we go.
Oh. All right.
Eesh.
So you do this, where you are trying to locate Horatio.
Real quick, I do have a question.
Mhm.
The second secret I have, the secret of transformation. Never mind, actually, that doesn't apply yet. Go on!
Okay.
That'll come in handy later.
So there is something. So there's something kind of strange that you note, Sir John, as as Puck is reaching the bay, and has been actually you already are in there because you're wheeling by and whispering your hex. Horatio's transponder signal is coming from at least 5 different places in the flight on the flight deck.
Found the transponder.
Puck, as you enter in, and you're behind where Richard is, and has been standing there, and you see the Hamlet hologram sitting in the chair, as they're having this conversation, and you see beyond that. It looks as though in several different there are a number of TIE fighters into which have been placed. It looks like there are crew working on a number of them, and you see that, and you're able to sort of transmit this information, that the signal is coming from these 5 TIE fighters that these crews have been working on.
Oh. Okay. So, I'm going to be as quiet as possible and just kind of mutter. So I think I found Horatio. There's just 5 small problems. And
There aren't any actual problems. We're moving on. Just put a knife at his throat. Dick.
okay. Well. Yeah.
And so you're trying to address him mid rant, as he's in there, and
Dick.
yeah.
Dick. There is no audience for you to perform
Fire us with the
for.
fleet of fiery dragons upon them victory. What?
There's no audience. I'm not an audience. We were having a conversation, and you went out. You're hanging out with the Sith too much. You really need. When was the last time you were defragged?
There are things to learn beyond defragging if you look at the pattern. It is quite enlightening.
Were you hanging out with the electromagnetic pulses again?
Maybe.
You were hanging out with Oberon and electromagnetic pulses. Were you? I have to ask. I mean, we all want to know. Is he as bad a lay as she says he is?
And I think before he can even answer, Puck is like behind him and suddenly Puck again and has a knife and just goes, I already know the answer to that.
And when he says that, Richard just sort of just smiles and says, I'm so glad you could make it. And you see, from his right hand, there's a snap hiss, and this red blade emerges.
Oh!
Lightsabers. Why does it always have to be lightsabers?
So,
For the same reason that he's hanging out with the Sith, he couldn't get laid any other way.
okay, so...
There are the many benefits.
Yeah, well...
He's going to attempt to whirl around and attack you.
And in that moment, I'm going to go ahead and... remember that dagger I was given?
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't say specifically what kind of dagger, so it becomes a laser dagger.
Of course.
Yes.
I mean, it makes sense.
Excellent.
And also because the only reason that he even stands a chance is because everyone else seems so slow to him, is Puck is actually able to just like, oh.
Through the throat. Through the throat.
All right. So
He's
you are now
got
in a
sword.
you are now in a plasma blade duel with Richard III.
It's okay.
Any way I
he's
can
not-
jam his frequency from here?
You know, I really get the sense this was supposed to be a Hamlet versus Richard III battle, and I kind of went sideways and went, nope, it's gotta be Puck.
Well, these things happen.
I mean, it's realistically, you left both of the possible fighters on the ship, but it's okay.
So this is going to be a difficulty 5.
All right. Let me tell you how I'm gonna deal with this. Okay, so normally I would do like light-footed or whatever. I mean, does that work in this case?
Sure.
Good
Yeah,
footwork
yeah.
is
You're trying to
everything.
avoid getting killed, so that could probably help.
Hey, footwork is everything in swordplay.
Yeah, I was thinking of either going light-footed or just like breaking out the fairy abilities, but I've got more in light-footed, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And just okay. So, what exactly am I rolling for?
So this is going to tell us how this duel between the two of you comes out.
Okay, cool. So
yeah.
basically, if I win, I get to say it, and if I don't win, oh boy.
Yeah. One roll resolution, isn't it delightful?
If you don't win, we will send you your party gifts, including a home version of our game.
You may take a condition of some kind if you lose. That's
Okay.
definitely on the table here.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead. So, 1 for being there, 1 for light-footed, 1 for quick, 1 for agile, 1 for reflexes, 1 for fast acting, 1 for tumbling. Do I get 1 for escape? Because I'm kind of trying to escape death.
Well, if you can only fork that, I would say you probably only fork that in if you're trying to get away from the fight.
Okay. Then instead, can I add in stealthy, just in the sense of being able to? No, that's more reflexes. Never mind. So I've got 8, or do I have 7?
Well, you had 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. Got 7. And then just because this is gonna be crazy, I'm gonna go ahead and just I've got 4 in my pool left, and I am going to just
That brings you to 11.
yeah, I'm gonna pool everything.
All right.
Because this is just Puck going like fight or flight, and for some crazy reason, he's actually going fight. I think it was the Oberon mention.
Yes.
It was also possibly the order. But question: did that virus affect Richard at all?
Richard is pretty buggy as is, but I mean, yeah, he wasn't able to detect Puck up until
Okay.
he came up and stuck a knife in his back.
All right, so that's 11. You
Yeah,
got this.
so-
We have faith.
Okay. Let me bring my pool right down to 0. And
This is for the whole ball of wax and the dining room set.
oh boy. Okay. So I have to get a 5. Wish me luck.
Now we find out if this is a comedy or a tragedy. Oh, it's a tragedy!
Tragedy.
Oh man.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do Secret of Transformation.
Okay, so in what way are you trying to trick him using shape-changing or mimicry?
So I'm going to make it seem, I'm going to use the appearance, ability. So I'm going to change the fact that, I'm going to make my dagger look like a sword so that he'll instinctively aim for the sword and miss.
The blade length is different.
All right, go ahead and re-roll.
Okay, since I technically failed that last one, I didn't use the pool.
That's right.
It's the same. It's just the same number of dice exam.
Yep. So we're gonna hope that.
Almost.
Oh.
All
I
right.
came so much closer.
So you have a pitched battle, during which Blade is clashing with Blade, Blade passing through Blade that is pretending to be a longer blade. And he drives you back. As you are fighting him, he is you're fast. So but he is also he is also he's learned a lot pretty much in the 1,000 years or so that he's been on his own, and he manages to push you back until one point when he sort of is trying to come around, and it looks like he's actually blocking a blow, but he feints and manages to shove you into a down into this it's a bit of a shaft that goes down a bit of a ways, not too far down, but sort of knocks you down. You tumble down into this area that's comes out. It's really more of a it starts out as a sort of an opening, but it's actually more of the a utility pit basically. Sort of the techies are hanging out, and he's got you essentially tangled up down there, as there are rather a lot of cables and wires and what have you, and some of the and a couple of the folks the techies that are standing there grab you, and you have taken the condition trapped, which is not on the Roll20 sheets, but is on because I couldn't change those. Actually, it might be on there. Trapped might be on there.
I think.
Trapped is on there.
Okay, cool. And as you look up, you can see into the cockpit of one of these TIE fighters as you're right underneath it. And you look and you see Horatio look down, and he looks down at you. He's sort of reaching his arm out. And you see these cables snaking into him. And they apparently have hacked him, and he's connected to the cockpit of this the cockpit of this thing. And as Richard steps forward and looks down at you from the top of the pit, he raises the transmitter and turns it so that you can see where Puck is. And then he looks back and he says, We were somewhat concerned how we were going to completely mimic the appearance of the ships, but that for Denmark. But now we have a much easier means. I thank you.
Or so you think.
Well, we shall see.
Mute. Falstaff,
Yes.
Ends the
you might want to hold your ass. He's going to fly into the hangar.
Ah! Excellent.
Also, I'm going to go ahead and just say that for the entire battle that happened, one of the things that was actually rather surprising is that throughout, Puck is normally like this, like he just talks too much and everything. But for some reason throughout the entire battle, he's so focused that there's no commentary. And with no commentary, I'm going to go ahead and buy out Key of the Critic.
Excellent. That works.
So I'm going to go ahead and up myself 2 XP, and then, because of that, I'm going to go ahead and spend in advance.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend in advance on Learn a Secret.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, let's see. As we're very close to the end here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to see what happens for this cockpit run. For this run, this run into the hangar bay.
Yeah, go
basically, as this could pretty much determine everything if it is pulled off skillfully enough. So, I presume you're trying to swoop in and rescue him and Horatio. I presume that is your objective here.
Oh yeah, we're pulling a full Han Solo, sliding the Millennium Falcon in, pivoting it out, and flying out the back way.
So, quick snatch and
Possibly.
grab.
Snatch and grab.
Drive-by snatch and grab.
I mean...
So that is going to be a difficulty of 5.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
This is
okay.
fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Everything's
This is
fine. Okay. Pilot. Maneuvering, because yes, one for showing up, one for pilot, one for maneuvering, because I'm going to have to be maneuvering around obstacles.
Yep.
Evasion to evade everybody. Caution, because I need to make sure I don't actually damage who I'm picking up. Tricks, because this is tricky as fuck. Obstacles, well, again, all the ships are obstacles. I would say that this is entirely a daredevil move. I need to avoid their tractor beams, and because I bought off this last time, I need to also come out of doing this from concealment. And just because... Will I have to make another roll to fly out of here?
No, we're going to do this in one roll.
Okay, then I'll dump the rest of my pool, which is 3, so that brings me up to 13.
Excellent.
Plus, Falstaff, with his ability to reprogram, because she's flying this herself without her co-pilot, and making modifications to the controls, he'll use this nice little sonic screwdriver here to make modifications so she can do this without the help of her co-pilot.
Excellent. So yeah, you can contribute a die from your pool.
14.
You know what? Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and say, instead of learning a secret, I'm going to spend 5 XP to add 1 to my die pool. And I will use that 1 in my die pool to help.
Because you're trying to get out of the trapped situation to make it easier for me to get you?
Exactly. And the way I'm doing that is because that hex that I was muttering earlier, just tamper with things. Oh, hey, these are the wires to that.
Ah, excellent.
They tangled me exactly where I wanted them to.
Okay.
So 15?
15.
They fell right into your trap.
It's a trap! How many? 6? I need 5?
Need 5.
Okay, let's see if this works.
6!
Yes!
You dive the ship in! And, what does this look like?
it's going to be literally Hamlet hits mute, Falstaff hold on to something, which we'll come back to
I
that.
hold on to a wine bottle with one hand and a turkey leg with the other. Okay, I'm set.
Okay, that's not going to help you against inertia. And
You don't know how heavy these things are.
I love that nobody knows what hold on to something means. This is
we're resting against the back. We've got the ship resting against the back of their radio tower, or bridge tower. And so what we're gonna do is, because know where the hangar bay is, I'm going to fly up and around and through underneath to the hangar bay, pivot in, spin the do a full-on hard Fast and the Furious drift spin in the hangar bay. Get them, because that way if anybody's shooting at us, they really can't hit shit at the moment. Well, I mean, they're Imperials, they're Imperial stormtroopers, they can't hit shit anyways.
Yeah, it's difficult now.
Yeah.
that innate programming is really hard to overcome.
Yeah. And the virus is affecting their ability to aim too.
There's that. And just kind of at the same time lower the hatch side door and say, Falstaff, grab him, as I spin thing around.
Yeah.
So
Using the mechanical magnet that's in the back of the hangar bay that we use for salvage operation.
Ah, neat. Yeah, so
And
you're
then
able.
just go
So yeah,
in
the
and
ship
out.
is big enough. You're able to quickly yank in with a bunch of, bringing a bunch of cables with him flailing around. You're able to yank in Sir Robin, and then as you're swooping up, you see Horatio. You aim for him. And you just manage to pull him, and he is bleeding as these wires are being forcibly pulled from his chest.
I start doing my repairs on him immediately.
And you swoop out and away.
Well, and as we do, I
Yoinks! And away!
hey, hold on to something real tight as I hit the emergency button next to my pilot's chair and drop the ordnance into his into the TIE fighter that they had Horatio locked up in. Boom, boom, and use that as a propel to get away.
Yes, a series of explosions happen behind you as
And then I open the hologram image again and just go, bye, Dick.
and you rocket away. Horatio is very badly damaged, but you're working on repairing him. And he just basically says thanks. They were going to use my signal to get into Denmark. They've figured out the code for the way to replicate us.
Best. Now is not the time to discuss it. We'll talk about it later.
And you're off as the fleet is kind of chasing you a little bit, but that is where I believe we are going to draw to a close.
I have a question. I think I bought off that key in that movement.
Oh,
That key of sanity.
Key of sanity. Ooh, yeah, you could.
I mean, you
Yeah,
maintain
that was a bit much. Yeah, so yeah.
Able to maintain the impression of control. I mean, I gave the impression of control, but I don't know that I was really emotionally in control.
That is fair. That is very fair. So as you rocket off, something that I like to do when at the end of these things is, instead of, they're not exactly sort of a montage, might say, but if this were, say, an episode of a television series, you might get a little glimpse of a thing that happens in the future. And I'm going to go around to each of you and ask a tiny sliver of something that we see happening on the horizon with this character. Just briefly, what do we see? And I think I'm going to go counterclockwise, and I will start with Sir Robin. I'll start with Puck.
Okay. So this is something specifically with this character?
Yeah, just something that happens, something that we see happening to Puck in the near future.
Okay. So I think you see Puck, and he doesn't look as worse for wear as he does now. But I think as the so-called camera pans out, you see Puck, his face looking surprisingly aghast, and then as it pans out, you see a room filled to the brim with exact lookalikes of Puck.
Ah, nice. And Sir John, what do we see of him?
Okay, is this immediate or long-term future?
Fairly near-ish.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be immediate, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. When we finally escaped and all is faded away, he goes back to his quarters, sits down in his chair, presses the green button next to it, and the small holosuite that he has built in there starts in, and he sees a full revelry going of a banquet hall with all of the necessary guests and dignitaries and wenches and all that. And he goes in to have a very merry time, because after all of this crashing and bashing around, he needs a very merry time.
Very nice. And then finally, what does the future hold for Hamlet, Prince of Denmark?
Hamlet, Prince of Denmark might be even more intrigued now to return to the ghost planet to figure out what the fuck is going on, because he's not getting any closer to Denmark than he has to at the moment. But the more immediate future is probably seeing how Horatio is doing, and then just the door closing behind them.
Ah, nice. Excellent. Well done. Well, thank you so much for playing, everyone.
Hey, thanks for having me.
This was delightful. I loved what you did with these characters. It was great. Always cool to see this, but this was beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Hey, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks.
going to go ahead and go around one more time, again the opposite way from the way that we started, and I'm going to ask folks to say what you thought of the game and any final thoughts that you may have about the game, and just where people can find you. And we'll start again with Peter.
All right. Well, like I said before at the top, I'm at Blazing Lion on Twitter and Discord, and basically, this was a lot of fun. First time playing and having a right old blast with it. I love just the mashup of everything from like Shakespeare to all the crazy pop culture stuff that sort of filtered in. I mean, I didn't know Shakespeare did so much.
I know, right?
Yeah, it was kind of insane, but I really, I want to, like, I'm sad. The only thing I'm sad about is that it's a one shot, and I would love to continue with this crew more to see what else we get up to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
so much.
So many things. Yeah, that's what I like about games like this. That they, that especially just the Lady Blackbird model is a very good one for generating stuff, and I really like that about it.
Yeah.
And let us come around to Hawkeye.
All right, I am KY Hawkeye, or as it's short for Kentucky Hawkeye, here on Twitch, on Twitter, and Instagram. I am starting to do some more of my game streaming on my own, but most of the time you'll find me streaming on the Twitch channel, the Adipose TV, which is where a bunch of us Doctor Who fans hang out, and I do some gaming streaming there on Tuesdays. I do things from the Lego game series. Currently we're wrapping up the Star Wars The Force Awakens. And then on Wednesdays, I have a weekly Skyrim serial. Currently, we're doing the Adventures of Eric Rosine, a character that's more Nord than the Nords. And that's kind of a weekly thing that's going there. And on Saturdays, whenever I'm in town, we do Posse Wrestling, which is all of us Doctor Who fans. I've created wrestlers for all of us in the WWE 2K19 gaming universe. And we have our different champions and titles and stuff like that. I'm personally part of the Tag Team Critical Condition. I'm a pharmacist, and my tag team partner is a medical technician, so we're kind of going to the medical team with our tag team and stuff like that. And hopefully coming soon after the first year, I'm going to experiment with doing some stuff on YouTube. I've done the same thing in WWE with the characters and NPCs from Ekin Center's Critical Role. I call it Critical Holds, and I've made all of them into wrestlers as well. And I'm going to start doing some streaming with that. Hopefully maybe do some broadcast on YouTube here in the near future.
Excellent. That is so cool. Any final thoughts on the scenario or the game or anything like that?
I loved it. I've been a peripheral fan of Shakespeare and stuff. I know of Sir John, but I don't know him. If you know what the difference is, so I was trying to play to the character, but not try to over stereotype it as well, and all that. So hopefully, I was as true to him as I could with my limited knowledge. And it was fun doing a different gaming system. Then I did a myriad of them in college and all that, Gamma World and a whole bunch of other stuff like that other than D&D. It was nice trying to learn something different and all that. So had a real good time with it. And if this expands into something further, I would love to join in and get in a campaign like this.
Oh, this is cool. This was cool. I really loved what you did with Falstaff. That was great. Falstaff is an awesome character. I'm so glad that you latched onto that.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it was available, it's like, I can't pass up that opportunity.
And finally, we come to Hamlet. We come to D, or Prax.
Hey y'all, I'm D, or Prax. Prax go with Thesmiophoria. You find me on Twitch or on Twitter at DearJudonlin, where I talk about D&D and classics because I am that nerd. This was so much fun, and I had so much fun with it. Thank you very much for letting me come hang out with you all. This was just the kind of chaos crazy that we needed for the end of the year. Yep. You can find me on Sundays over on twitch.tv/SoulBearRPG, where I play a very, very different drama character in Eleanor Dequa. She is our resident half-elf bard who's going through some serious shit right now, and we'll be back next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern to see how she does not handle it at all well. I mean, like, giant Gollum crushed her cousin to death, and then she got taken into the Feywild, and her mom that she hasn't seen in a few years was there. It's kind of a big thing. Oh yes, and there was a jester who wanted to make her laugh at the same time.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
She's done. It'll be great. But yeah, you can find me over there. You can find me, and there are a bunch of other things. If you want to know what else I'm doing, come hang out, check my Twitter. It's where I usually post when I'm going live. Thank you again for letting me come and hang out with this, because this was so much fun. I loved everything about it. Okay. And yes, I agree with Hawkeye. This is something we should do again.
Oh, cool! Thank you so much. I will make a note of that. Thank you so much. That was that's great. I love this whole thing. And I'm so glad somebody played Hamlet. It's the way I tried to set this up, none of the characters are required, but I do enjoy. He's in the title, so it's very cool to have.
Otherwise, we would have had to rescue Hamlet, which could have been fun.
Which would have been cool too.
I mean, I got to have Hamlet rescue Horatio. I thought that was perfect.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Oh yeah, perfect character.
Well, once again, I am Jim Ryan, and you can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch and Twitter. My website is jim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube, and all that. This coming Tuesday night, I'm going to be playing in the finale of Off the Table's game of Urban Shadows. My character is on a knife's edge right now, probably several knives' edges, actually, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Then this coming Thursday evening, back on this channel, we'll be live with the 25th episode of the Cyphercast, which is a podcast I produce all about the Cypher system and Monty Cook games. On Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings, I play video games. Every other Saturday, we play The Cold Ruins of Last Life. We're nailing down the schedule, but it'll be coming back in the new year. But 1 week from today, for our first one-shot of 2019, I'll be hosting a game of Dawn of Worlds. It is a game where the players are essentially deities, shaping a fantasy world and populating it with different races. So that should be a lot of fun. I enjoy world-building games very much. I've been doing this for 5 months now, and I'm ecstatic about what's happening in the new year. In future months, I'm going to be hosting games of the Quiet Year, the Cypher System, A Penny for My Thoughts, Alas Vegas, and Deadlands Noir, and those are just the one-shots. I'm looking at hopefully adding more programming soon, some more longer-form stuff, and so keep an eye out for announcements for that, if you would. When we go to the end card, I am going to raid Grimjack21502, who is doing, actually, it's a one-on-one session, I think, of his Project Athena game, which is a delight to watch. It's a Call of Cthulhu game. and it is masterful. And some of the stuff he does with the characters one-on-one is brilliant. So if you're at all interested, I'd suggest sticking around for it. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.